Week's episode of Walking Dead was Faith. This week's episode mission is Search Party. Looks like it's Maggie-centric. It's Maggie and Carol, not Hilltop Maggie. It's kind of odd. But okay, alright. There ain't no party like a search party because a search party don't stop. So, kill all walkers. What part of the episode does this represent? Did they do this in the... I would have thought that maybe we would be in the house trying to search for the kids. You know, this is Kill All Walkers, doesn't seem to have anything to do with the kids. Okay, alright, fine. Looks like a sewer that we're in. So far, we are just simply shooting walkers. We're at a distance. Will that door need to be opened? Yes. Who do we want doing that? Probably better off with Carol. Oh, hello. Alright. Okay. Bad guy suddenly appearing. Okay. Better remember that for when this gets trickier. You know, they are just normal walkers, but we could get swamped. There's goos as well. That could be a problem. I think maybe leading them away over here is just inadvertently a pretty good idea. I didn't intend to do that, but that's what we got. Okay, so we open the door. That brings us down to one usable character. And we still got to get out. Okay, fairly simple mission. I think shouldn't have too much of a struggle. Let's see what it's like on a slightly harder difficulty setting. And let's talk about the episode, Faith. So we're really getting towards the end of the Walking Dead television show. Yeah, it started with a pretty exciting, sort of tense opener. I, did like that. We go straight into a sort of courtroom drama. Who would have thought that you would get a courtroom drama in The Walking Dead? I mean, that's kind of bizarre. Really never would have thought that. Not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just it's strange. I am kind of glad that they didn't spend too long on that. Obviously, it's it's a courtroom scene, but it's everybody knows it's a kangaroo court. You know, they're just there to convict Eugene, not to, find any kind of truth or anything. So, yeah, but anyway, yeah, courtroom drama in Walking Dead. Bizarre. Oh, there's some nice scenes between Negan and his wife. It seems like Jeffrey Dean Morgan has chemistry no matter who he's on screen with. I think that's called good acting. But yeah, I mean he's pretty much the breakout star of the show at this point. It's easy to see why when you can kind of just have that kind of result, that kind of effect whenever you are on screen. Let's see. We had a moment where we have... that's not good. Let's see, what do we do here? I haven't got any tools. Well, we've got to do that. Right, I have... kind of got to save Carol here. Let's get some charge points. Sorry, I'll talk about the mission again, the episode again in a bit, but look at this. You need to let go of Carol or she is going to die. Sorry, Maggie, or she is going to die. That was terrible. Okay, where were we? So what happened next in that episode? So, yeah, Ezekiel and Negan, they had that very antagonistic dialogue scene. Ezekiel saying that Negan didn't deserve to have a son. That was a deep cut. That was pretty dark. It seems reasonable. I mean, Ezekiel and Negan, they haven't had much interaction. I don't think anything since before the previous episode. Yeah, Ezekiel is still going to be insanely antagonistic towards Negan. Went back to the courtroom scene, and we had Eugene giving that speech. And I thought it sounded very, very similar to the speech that Princess gave to Mercer, talking about how sitting back and just letting something happen is pretty much as bad as being responsible for it yourself, no matter how you justify it. So I thought that, spoiler alert, by the way, already halfway through the thing. I thought it was perfectly reasonable that would reach Mercer, as we find out it does at the end of the episode. You kind of see it on his face. Mercer's been trying to be the dutiful soldier, do the right thing. Which he's really been torn apart. He's actually had a really interesting kind of conundrum in the back half of this season so far. But yeah, the idea that that would mean something to him, it's entirely plausible. It's just good writing, and I kind of like that. We have the Commonwealth, head guard, lining up the prisoners and interrogating them. Eventually sort of, bringing Negan back to be executed, and then his wife as well. Really, really similar to the scene with Negan, of course, and our survivors, with his whole eeny, meeny, miny, mo thing. I mean, it was almost, it was really, really similar. A lot of parallels, and I thought that was really interesting. Putting Negan through that, really, kind of like a really fun, interesting scene. He's on the receiving end of this now, especially when his wife kind of gets dragged in, and previously he'd been able to just shrug all of this off as, well, it's what you've got to do to survive. Very interesting moment. We had some face-biting nastiness. Not too much to say about that. Cool effects, cool moment. You got the guard commander kind of like being all defiant, and then it's easy to do that. Thank you, tablet. Until he gets his face bitten off. And then finally, this has got to be one of my favourite moments in the season. The characters have actually started swearing in Walking Dead. Now, we've had everything. We've had horrific murders. We've had horror, gore, intense violence, all of that kind of stuff. It's always seemed crazy that the characters aren't allowed to swear. That moment when Rick says they don't know who they're screwing with, when the characters were caught in the containers at the end of season 4, it bugged me, it bugged the actors, it bugged everybody. Mercer probably would get a full extra star for this episode for what he says, just coming up to Eugene, the mask comes up, and then he says that line, and it is just absolutely glorious. It's about time somebody swore. It's about time Mercer picked a side and sort of stood up and did the right thing. I just like scenes where what happens fits the character, it fits the tone. It's a cliffhanger that doesn't have you worrying about somebody's fate. Instead, you are just itching to see the fight happen. Absolutely love that. Yeah, I like this. I think the back half of this season has really picked up. What did you guys think of Faith? What do you think of this episode, Mission? I've been talking for nearly 10 minutes, so I will just say thank you for watching.